What a WWE Monday Night Raw that was last night, guys. And today, this is going to be my WWE Monday Night Raw review from last night's show. So here we go. We kicked off WWE Monday Night Raw with the Universal Champion Roman Reigns. So, Roman Reigns, he talks about that he is suffering from a, a lunicanium and everything else, and he said that he is going to beat that leukemia and everything else. And he said his real name is Joe and everything else. And he also said he had a requench the Universal Championship belt. And he said he loves all the WWE Universe and stuff like that. And then after that, he puts the belt down in the ring, the Universal Championship belt, and then he leaves the ring, and then right after that, the Ambrose Seth Rollins comes out, they started clapping, they gave him a hug, and the next, they do the shield thing together, and then that was about it to kick off to the Monday Night Raw. So now we have is our match number 1 of the night. And it is Finn Balor versus Bobby Lashley. And of course, Leo Rush comes out first and he introduces Bobby Lashley, the Dominator, to come out. And of course, here we go with our match number 1 of the night. So, Leo Rush was always on the microphone saying, Lashley, 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 like that and everything else. And then, of course, Finn Balor won the match. He did a roll-up finisher on Bobby Lashley for the 1, 2, 3, and that was it for Bobby Lashley. Now we have is our match number 2 of the night. Ruby Riott versus Sasha Banks, the legit boss. This match was pretty awesome. I really enjoyed it. Bayley, Natalya, Liv Morgan, and Sarah Logan gets involved during the match outside the ring and everything else. And then, of course, Ruby Riott will do her finisher on Sasha Banks for the 1, 2, 3, and that was it for Sasha Banks. And Sasha Banks lost. So now we have is DX. So Triple H was talking about Halloween and stuff and everything else with Shawn Michaels and everything else. They were talking about Brothers of Destruction, Kane and The Undertaker. And then the lights turn out and they play Undertaker's music. Done. And then, of course, right after that, we also had this part, and also Kane and Undertaker on the Titantron. They're talking about DX that they are gonna beat them at WWE Crown Jewel and everything else. Then of course Undertaker says this with their tombstones that they are gonna rest in peace, DX. And then that was about it for that part. And now we have is, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman. So Paul Heyman says this first that he has his thoughts and praise for Roman Reigns and everything else. So then he talks about the Universal Championship being vocant and everything else. And then, of course, he talks about Braun Strowman, that Brock Lesnar is going to beat him at Crown Jewel and everything else. And then, of course, out comes Braun Strowman. So then, Braun Strowman, he comes out and he tells Paul Heyman that I'm going to beat Brock Lesnar at the Crown Jewels. And I never been WWE Universal Champion and everything else. And then, of course, he says, Brock Lesnar, you're going to get these hands. And then, out of nowhere, after that, Drew McIntyre will come out. Then he'll start hitting his finisher on the top of the entrance ramp to Braun Strowman. And then that was about it. So now we have our match number 3 of the night. And it is Elias versus Apollo Crews. But before it started, Elias was always doing his stuff by singing and stuff for everybody. And then, of course, he gets interrupted by Apollo Crews. Then Apollo Crews, they have their match. So this was a pretty good, decent match. And then also, Elias won with his finisher for the 1, 2, 3, and that was it. Next we have is Elias again. He says this that I won my match, so now I'm gonna do a performance for you guys again, which was pretty funny again. So then, of course, right after that, Baron Corbin will interrupt him, of course, and he says, no, we're not going to have a performance tonight for you, Elias, because we don't have enough time to do all this stuff. We have stuff. We are busy tonight and everything else he says to him and stuff and everything else. And then, of course, he starts to say, I was humbling to Baron Corbin and everything else. And then Baron Corbin will just say then otherwise I'll tell Stephanie and then you'll be fired and stuff. And then of course he just says turn the guitar off. And then they did before he started to play it. And then of course right after that then Elias would just leave them bored. Corbin would start to talk on the microphone to all the fans and stuff. And then next right after that Elias will come back out. Then he will hit Baron Corbin on the back with the guitar, the active GM general manager. So that was a pretty funny thing that I really enjoyed. Now we have is our contract signing for the Raw Women's Championship. Ronda Rousey and Nikki Bella. And Brie Bella was with Nikki Bella, of course. So Michael Cole called out the challenger in the ring. He called out Nikki Bella and Nikki Bella with Brie Bella. So then out comes Ronda Rousey next. Michael Cole introduced Ronda Rousey, the Raw Women's Champion. And then, of course, right after that, so then the Bellators would start to leave the ring real fast because they thought that they were going to get a beating from Ronda Rousey and everything else. Then, of course, she says that I'm not going to fight you guys tonight. Don't worry. I keep my promise and stuff. Then, of course, they come back in the ring. The next, they start to talk about Ronda Rousey's mom and everything else. And then, of course, they sign the contract. And then it's all set and everything else. And Ronda Rousey says, this just you might see till this Sunday, Ward, when I beat you this Sunday, she says, and everything else. And now we have is our match number 4 of the night. And it is a fatal 4-way match. Ember Moon versus Tamina versus Nia Jax versus Dana Brooke. This match was pretty good. I really enjoyed it. Ember Moon does her finisher on Tamina for the 1, 2, 3, and that was it for Tamina. You know, it was a pretty cool, decent match. So now we have is like Titus O'Neil. He was doing like the breast cancer and everything else by saying the other people's names and everything else that they've been fighting with and stuff. And they have like Raw replica belts of the women's championship belts and everything else, but they were pink and stuff for them. So that was pretty nice what they did. So now we have is our main event, and it is for the Raw Tag Team Championships. Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler. This was awesome. So, here we go with this. So, Braun Strowman comes out during the match, and he goes right after Drew McIntyre, and they fight into the WWE Universe and stuff, into the crowd and everything else. So then Dolph Ziggler was only the left leading, so then Dean Ambrose would do a Dirty Deeds 2. Dolph Ziggler for the 1, 2, 3. Here's your winner, the new Raw Tag Team Champions, Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, and then after the match, here we go with this. Dean Ambrose was hugging Seth Rollins first, and then after that, Dean Ambrose would give a dirty deeds to Seth Rollins, and then right after that he would start beating him up like this, everything else, and he even turned on him, and he also like turned off his vest and everything else he was doing to him, and also right after that he was also throw him, toss him out of the ring, and he started beating him up by the barricade and everything else. The next he'll rip like the concrete floor and everything else, and he'll do a dirty deeds to Seth Rollins on top of that. And then of course right after that, here we go with this. Dean Ambrose would just leave, and all the fans start to boo Dean Ambrose and everything else. Then he'll just go on top of the fans and stuff. Then that was about it to end WWE Monday Night Raw. And what a WWE Monday Night Raw was last night, guys. So, guys, hope you all enjoyed my day Monday Night Raw review from last night's show. So, guys, once again, please like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe. Peace out, guys. See ya. Happy Tuesday too, bye, guys.